for arsenals, things like that. The military.
Stewart, say that again so that I can play it back for him.
Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17 of the Constitution lays out how the federal government gets land from the states. They have to purchase it with the consent of the legislature and for certain purposes such as dark yards, magazines and arsenals, things like that for the military. So that's what's going on here. The Nevada legislature never consented. They never agreed to a sale. The federal government never bought it and never paid Nevada for the land. They just stole it at the beginning of statehood. Unconstitutional from the very beginning. That's the poison fruit right there, and all this is fruit of the poisonous tree. Everything that's happened after that is because of that, because of the theft of the West. Every state in the West has at least half the state claimed by the federal government. Montana's that way. Washington State is like 65%. Here it's like 80, 85, 90% of the land of Nevada is claimed by the federal government. All completely illegitimate. They never bought it, never paid for it, never got the consent of the legislature. Okay, got that?
Yeah.
And they compounded that later with an additional sin of claiming a power to regulate everything we do by expanding the Commerce Clause beyond make it ridiculous. So all it is now is a general police power, never intended by the founders. Madison said the powers of the new government in the Federalist Papers. He said the powers of the new government are to be few and defined and confined primarily to foreign affairs, such as war and treaties with other nations and correspondence with other nations, and leaving everything else to the states to manage the daily lives of their people and make laws regarding the daily lives of their people. They turned that on its head. Now the federal government claims the general police power to make rules about anything, including rules protecting this species and that species, the desert tortoise, etc. And they're using that to shut down even things they used to be able to do. So here, they're saying you can no longer even ranch here at all. No one can ranch. He had 52 neighbors who used to be ranchers who are now gone because of the desert tortoise. Yeah. And they use that same excuse in other states. Up in Utah, it's the groundhogs. They're telling farmers in Utah, Mormon farmers, they've been there forever, since the 1800s, that now they can't till their own soil because it's prairie dog habitat. And they're using that in California to shut down the water to the farmers there over the smelt. They're using it across the West, whether it's a spotted owl or any kind of animal you can think of. They use that as a weapon. So it's a shut down. So they've already stolen the land, and now they're trying to tell you you can't do anything else on the public land or even on your private land. They're taking away the ability for the Westerners to even use the resources of the West. So they're robbing the states and they're robbing the people. They've been doing it from the beginning, and now it's just getting worse. So that's what this is all about. Okay? What about grazing fees, etc.? He was happy to pay grazing fees to Clark County, Nevada. He even sent them checks. They said, we can't cash these. You got to pay it to the federal government. He said, no, you own the land.
And he's been offering that.
This is public land owned by Nevada. The county owns it, or the state. That's who he wants to pay. He was more than happy to pay them. So he's not some kind of deadbeat rancher like they're saying now in the New York Times. That's nonsense. What he is a principled constitutionalist who refuses to recognize an illegitimate sovereignty over land that belongs to Nevada. Amen. He's not a sovereign citizen in the sense of he doesn't believe that the U.S. exists. He just says, hey, you want to have some federal land? Purchase it from the state according to Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17. Do it the constitutional way. Right. Until then, go pound sand. Okay? That's his point. And that's our point too. That's the friggin' point. It's the destruction of the West. It's a war on the whole West. It's a war on the Western people to try to crush them, impoverish them. And we are defending the whole West. That's why we had legislators coming here from all over the West. And today we have a current serving sheriff, Brad Rogers, from Elkhart, Indiana, is going to be here. He's flying in today. I'm picking him up, and he's going to stand with the Bundys all weekend. He's here to protect them, be here to stand with them. So, and we're going to have other sheriffs come in after him. So go ahead and run that, send it out to the internet.